Hello, I'm Chubbs the Penguin. I am a concealed eldritch abomination beyond your wildest imagination. In fact, if you so much as saw my true form, you would cease to exist. I am the product of Father God and Mother Flora. I have two brothers named God and God. I have one sister named Alora. Uncle God said that I shouldn't exist and that I should be sent down to literally anywhere else. So, great 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 Uncle God casted me down as a penguin egg meant to go to an unexplored area in Antarctica. He kinda, maybe, sorta, was a little, possibly, maybe 400,000 90 proof alcoholic drinks in and sent me to Australia instead.
They both start with A's and end with I's. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, what he didn't count on was my intelligence. Even though I had to grow up from an egg, I managed to retain all my knowledge. Since I am a penguin, I don't have vocal cords to actually speak English, so I made a translator. This translator isn't perfect, however. As you can tell, my accent is kind of a generic broad Australian one. I can set the accent to whatever I want, it just won't be perfect. Since it does translate live, it actually suppresses my penguin noises. They are still there, but they are very quiet. Here's a small sound sample from when I was just a wee little penguin chick during feeding. Hey Chubbs, why is your fur orange? Well, you see, after being in Australian heat for so long, it just turned orange. Any more questions about my fur? Yes, I am as soft as a chinchilla.
Don't touch me!
Let's delve a little deeper into my history now, shall we? I am older than the universe. I was there at its conception, and I'll be around way long after it ends. Every time I come down to Earth, I restart my age as it's easier to keep track of. Last time I came down to Earth was in 1997. I have been wandering around the Earth since the first bacteria was introduced. I have seen all evolutions of every animal on Earth. I made a few go extinct because I was hungry. Let me tell you, if for some reason you can get your hands on some frondocile meat, you will never, ever go back to a prime rib, steak, or bacon, ever. Frondocile meat is like a nice, big, juicy prime rib. It's wrapped in crispy bacon. They were so delicious. In hindsight, I should have stopped their evolution and bred them to keep to myself. Shame that. Back on topic. After the extinction of the frondociles, Uncle God wanted me back up in heaven. He told me off on how I can't just make an entire species go extinct because they taste heavenly. He said, and I quote,
If you wanted something that tasted like that, just come back up to heaven and order it. The cooks can make literally anything you want.
We argued back and forth about it, and I ended up showing my true form up in heaven. 3.75 quintillion angels and bystanders had their atoms torn apart just by gazing upon my form. From that day on, there is one new rule everyone had to follow. It didn't matter if you were the original Uncle God or if you're a resident of heaven, you do not piss off Chubbs unless you want to be eviscerated on an atomic level. When you reach heaven, the gate receptionist will welcome you and tell you that there is one rule. Do not piss off the penguin. A lot of people are confused by this rule, and about 99.999% of new residents will never break it. There's always one though. Always one. Chubbs, why'd you call one of the gods a dork? Well, the dork god is one depicted in your Catholic religion. He was born with terrible eyesight, and as he grew older, he developed lifelong pimples and pretty big front teeth. Kind of your generic dork. Like this, but with pimples. Not only is he a massive dork, he has a very whiny voice and cries all the time. You can't even give him a friendly verbal jab. He is so skinny that he ended up shattering his femur, left forearm, cracked his skull, and broke his ankle by just tripping on an ice cube on Cloud Drive. Despite all this, he somehow managed to get a wife and kid. He named his only son Jesus to break the chain of God names. That's the only reason. He is like a Gen Z kid of heaven. Honestly, he's probably worse. Almost insufferable. But despite his flaws, I guess I care for him. He is my nephew after all. So, onto my channel. What do I hope to put on it? Well, I mostly play VR games, but since there doesn't seem to be any that have caught my fancy, besides a few, I also play regular PC games. I have several videos already uploaded and ready to be viewed for your enjoyment. Maybe I'll do some karaoke streams, and maybe some singing streams as well. I'm not very confident in my translator to translate my singing, but we can only hope, yeah? I hope to do drawing improvement series, as I can't draw to save my fluffy little butt. Seriously, I asked a friend to draw me my avatar. Drawing's hard with flippers, mate. I've also been working on music. It's awful, but maybe I will license something and go from there to start out with. So don't expect anything too great though. With all that said, I will end it off here, and I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, night, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Don't touch me!